All right, everybody. Welcome to the Howard Show, episode 2, with special guest Riz. We finally got her here. And we have our first official sponsor, Janway Honey, from my cousin Josh in Baton Rouge. He doesn't know it, but he is paying for this episode. Thank you, Josh.
Honey.
And it goes great in old fashioned. So we also, because of all the mean people in the comment section who said my office looked like an interrogation room, we put up some new wall art. This is when I was in the military and I freed Riz from the Philippines in my uniform, and that was the paddle I paddled the ship out on. So well, why don't we go ahead and start for the people that don't know who you are.
I think everybody knows.
Everybody knows who you are. So, first episode of OnlyFans right here. Here we go.
Woo! I'm just kidding. No. Well, my name is Riz. Only a few people knows my full name. And only 2 people calls me with my full name. So, there's that. I'm Riz. I don't know how many times I've done this, saying I'm from Guam, from Philippines.
Born in Philippines.
Born in Philippines, proud Filipino. I moved to Guam when I was 10. My parents pretty much moved the whole family to Guam. 3 girls, 1 boy. All moved to Guam, and my other sister was left behind. She was a nurse in Philippines, but of course we moved there and pretty much YOLO'd it out. Mom worked at a bakery, like, I don't know, a few walking distance away, I would say, and she walked there to work because she could never pass her driver's license.
Oh.
And she never did. She tried, and she's just not made for it. So, you know.
Yeah.
As usual, I'm living her life. I don't like driving, and I hate driving. I just hate dealing with people on the road. Anyway, so.
That's true.
Mom worked at our bakery, and she did not, she did not really care if she's working or not per se, but she worked her ass off. She would work until 5 in the morning. She worked night shifts, so I just remember her. She smelled like bread all the time. Mm-hmm. But we get free bread, and it was good. Dad is an auto mechanic, and he's still working. He is. I don't know how old my parents are. I'm the worst daughter. But he still works. I'm pretty sure he's still working right now. He has been the provider for the whole family, so that's a good foundation for all of us women, girls in the family to kind of have an idea of what we want our husbands to be like.
Yeah, well, you did pretty well in that.
And then I found you, and I was like, damn it. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Look at you. Now you're on the Howard Show. I mean, you made it.
I'm doing podcasts.
Yeah, you made it.
I made it because, I have a lot of time in my hands now, so.
Yeah. So before we jump into the real estate part.
Wait, I'm still telling about my family.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So we moved to Guam, and my dad, got us a 2-bedroom duplex. So mom and dad stayed on the other room, and then 4 siblings stayed in 1 room. Can you imagine that? Like, my brother was working, my bigger sister was working, and they all pretty much worked their ass off to buy our first house in Guam. And I believe we were the first people from our town to actually buy real estate in Guam. Like, that, it was a big deal. Like, that house was about $200K, I think. That's a lot of money for us who came from the Philippines, and But yeah, that was my dad's goal, is to buy a house for us, and it was really, really nice to have that. And I think that's where we can jump into the real estate. And
Well, I was going to say, before we even jumped into real estate, which everyone knows you're obviously successful at that because we sold the company.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't know that you're also, well, one, you've been working on your master's at the University of Bama. Roll Tide. And you finished in May, I think.
Hopefully
in May.
Yeah.
With your master's in marketing, which is one reason why our marketing has been pretty good at Florida Charms. But then two, some people probably know, some people don't. Probably more the guys on my side, but they don't know that you actually have a very successful jewelry business where you make homemade jewelry.
Yeah.
And yeah, you actually crush it pretty good on that. So let's hear a little bit about that before we get into the real estate.
Oh, so that's actually what I did all day. I'm doing sale right now, 50% off everything, just because I need to move inventories. I have a lot of inventories and I need to do newer stuff, so I'm like, I need to put these on sale so I can just get rid of them and buy new stuff. But it is buttons. They're jewelry made out of buttons, and I turn designer jewelry into like earrings, bracelets, pendants, whatever, you know, I can custom make. And pretty much I started doing it during COVID. You know me, like I get bored, so I watch all the Korean dramas that I can think of. I got very, very addicted to that, and then I'm like, okay, you know, I need to do something, because one, I'm getting fat. Two, my back's hurting from laying on the couch too much watching my shows. But I started the jewelry business, and then I signed up for my master's degree, and I'm still going on with them right now. And yeah, the jewelry is something that I really, really love doing, because, you know, like I make jewelry and then I get to wear them. So I pretty much just make things that I can wear. Plus, I'm saving you money because you don't have to pay.
Well, that was gonna be my next question.
The normal price.
Where does all that money go to?
Well,
I've never seen it.
If you haven't been to my closet yet, you know, like,
we've been there.
They're all investments, by the way. Like, everything that I do is investment. Like, you're an investment.
Oh, well, it's pretty high return. But for like the guy listeners out there on the jewelry, she also makes some pretty cool cufflinks and stuff like that. You made some CCT cufflinks, I think maybe for Eric at one point, or like a tie bar or something like that.
No, I was trying to, but I couldn't find any lightning bolt. But I'm still
it's
on
the
the hunt
list.
for that.
On the list of things to do. But yeah, it's actually pretty nice little jewelry stuff that you do.
Side business.
So let's see. I kind of gave a story the other day. I know you listened to it, about how we got started in real estate and how I actually wish I would have listened to you in Washington State instead of renting a house, because that would have made us hundreds of thousands if we would have bought a house and sold it. So that was definitely a big regret of mine.
Yeah. Also, one thing, well, before I finish, one thing you didn't touch on is that I also wanted to buy in Destin.
You did. I did not touch on that, yeah.
And you said, no, I want to live in Navarre because I'm a country boy and I need to live in the woods. And I'm like,
that's not quite what I said.
But you didn't want to live in Destin because of the traffic, like what everybody is saying, you know?
Yeah, and if I would have really done my homework, there was less traffic in Destin than there was Navarre.
Yeah.
And then the house prices, like specifically Crystal Beach area, houses were like
we would have bought a house in Crystal Beach too.
150,000, where now they're millions, you
exactly.
know.
But I do love being in Navarre because we met, you know, the best neighbors ever.
We did. We had some awesome neighbors there.
Like, we're still friends with them. They're still family, you know. And that's why I go to Alabama, because of Miss Joanne, you know.
That's true. The commander,
she's influenced me.
She has.
So I can't wait to walk in and tell her, hopefully she can attend my graduation.
They're awesome people.
Yeah.
So
you were saying?
No, I was going to say, I kind of gave a story the other day about all the properties we bought, and I mentioned a little bit about you doing the designing of the homes, but that was such a huge part of our success in the vacation business. And it also, because usually we're dealing with like couples, so maybe the wife didn't like me or thought I was too rough around the edges, and then you're there beside me helping us get these houses on the program, and you're talking about your designing and showing photos of what we've done and how we would increase the rental income. And I think that brought like a lot of comfort usually to like the wife's side of the rental properties, especially the nice houses like in Seagrove.
Yes.
Because, you know, we go in these like $3 million houses, and, you know, I know people think I'm luxury because of the way I look, but
Very.
you know, usually you came off a little on the nicer side of
Yes.
luxury, and the wives like that, and that's probably actually what got us a lot of those contracts on those houses.
Yes.
But I guess the design side, where did that come from?
Mom from Nanay. No, she's I grew up like, you know, pretty much admiring my mom. Like, she had the best dresses, the best shoes, and she was always put together. Our house was always put together. Like, there's always nice stuff, and she takes care of them. So, you know, just growing up with that, and like when I tell myself, like, when I grow up, I want to be like that. Like, I want to have nice things. I want to make nice things. I want to put together, you know, beautiful stuff. So yeah, and I just love it. Like, I love putting things together. I buy stuff online, and I'm just like, well, this is gonna go good together, which was really hard at first because I don't get to see the furniture, and then we get them, we're like, oh my god, that's not what I ordered. So I just started having eye for what really works with the business. Well, especially here, you know, the whole beachy stuff, but not too beachy.
Coastal modern.
Yeah, coastal modern, but it all depends on what you want to attract. You know, like, it's all up to you. Like, you can design it Atlanta style, where it's all like dark, like black walls, green walls, whatever, like green and gold, black and gold. Like, those works well in Atlanta or New York City. Here, it's too hot for that. Like, people want to see like just all clean looking blue, I don't know.
Yeah. And
the beach, just the beach. Like, you don't want to be in a dark room, dark curtains, like, you know, it's the beach. You got to let the sun in.
And that was what brought our rental income up so much.
Yes,
and you would think it'd be obvious that people would see that, like, in a photo, like, oh, that looks like a beach home.
Yes.
This one looks like a mountain cabin.
Yes, exactly.
And it was shocking when people wouldn't get that. Or
Yes.
like when we would have owners we take on. So Riz would do the design of the property, and that was like a big thing we would do. But some owners were like, I still want to design the property myself.
Yes.
And we had that one guy who was like, no, I'm going to make this place nicest modern place. And then it looked like a Tennessee log cabin.
Yes.
And it affected the rental income huge.
Big time.
And then it was hard for him to understand why it was affecting the rental income, even after we explained it to him. But after we would show him like the numbers of a house you literally did like down the street, then he would,
Same exact house.
literally same house, then he'd be like, oh,
Yes.
you know. But I was a little surprised that people wouldn't design their home here like coastal modern. And yeah, I was a little shocked by that.
I think people just get too excited, you know, like it's that rush of buying a house, and you've always pictured how you want your vacation home to be, so they finally got it, and they're like, oh, you know what, I've always wanted to put this big ass couch in there in my vacation home, so let me buy it. But, you know, it's all dark couch, like, looks like a bachelor's pad. That's one thing I never like when I go on vacation, the house looking like a bachelor's pad. Like, you just can't relax. So
No, you can't. And then you were also a big part of the remodels.
Yes.
People probably thought those photos were just like you came in with like grabbed a
Yeah.
hammer and took a photo.
No.
But like
No.
when
I
we
did
were
it all.
doing Miramar charms, Laguna charms, and Merino charms,
Mm-hmm.
that was pretty much mostly all me and you. Like most people, we didn't really have help.
Yeah.
Um,
I broke a lot of nails.
Yeah, you didn't have nails. If you hear that noise, that's our dog. He's crying.
Bear.
But I mean, like that was me and you for months,
Yes.
and that's kind of where I was getting at the other day. When we're like, we were working every day. There was no days off because we were
Yes.
both still active duty.
Yeah.
You were running your office at Herbert Field, and you were in charge of the readiness shop, mortuary,
Yes.
and we would get off work and literally go right to the condo and start working
Yes.
on it, pulling carpet up, ripping nails out of the floor, scraping popcorn ceilings, painting.
Yes.
And then we were
Taking
also
out drywalls.
yeah, and then we were also like living in there as we would rent one of the other properties.
Yes.
We would live in there with no flooring, dust everywhere.
My poor dogs.
Yeah, and it was just like
And one of them didn't even have an AC, like because we had to move the AC or something.
yeah, it was like very tiring doing that.
Oh yeah.
But I mean,
I get PTSD from talking about it. Like, don't ever make me work that hard again. No, I would.
but that was a sacrifice we
I
did.
know. That's what I'm like. I would do it all over again. Like, I would do it all over again because without that, we would not be enjoying this right now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we would go from work to remodeling,
Yes.
and then it'd be like, okay, we have to stop remodeling to go clean like the Dust and Charms condo for a checkout, check in same day.
Yes.
And then we would literally go right back to those condos and start painting walls,
Yes.
cutting LPV flooring with
Yes.
little box cutters and popping them and sticking them on the floor. And then it'd be like, okay, now it's time to run to Home Depot, load the
Yeah.
truck up, or
Buy some appliances.
Home Goods, things like that.
Yeah, we
We did a
were
lot of takeout
working.
pizza too.
Yes, Whole Foods.
Whole Foods pizza to go, and
Um,
at the time Cuvée, we'd go get burgers there.
Yeah, best burgers today. I still remember us working Christmas Eve.
Yeah,
Remember?
that's like people really. I feel like a lot of people just think like we just say that, but no, it was
No,
actually Christmas
Christmas
Eve and
Eve.
Christmas. We were
Yes.
working both because
Yes.
we had to check in
Oh,
the day
yes.
after Christmas.
But
So-
we were having a check-in. We had a check-in for Christmas Eve for one of the condos that it should have been done already, but
Contractor issues. that's something we have not hit on.
maybe
And-
that's on the next episode.
Well,
Yeah.
let's just say when you're remodeling and you do hire like a contractor for tile work or plumbing,
Yeah.
there's like a 90% chance he might not show up.
Yeah.
And that was a problem we were having where he would show up really strong for a couple weeks and then he would just disappear.
Disappear.
And
We've learned that a lot about contractors. But then now we all have our best contractors that we work with and they actually show up. So that's what we can touch on. When you sign up for Howard Real Estate Consulting, you get those phone numbers.
yeah, we have fired a lot of contractors and we've taken a lot of contractors to small claims court. Unfortunately, it's
Yeah.
time consuming. But that's just kind of unfortunately the nature of the game. But that's why we were so far behind on that condo and it was already
Yes.
booked. And then I actually remember on that condo specifically, I know, should we open the door and let the dog in or I don't know.
Yeah.
He's getting loud on the microphone, but so I'll go ahead and talk while you grab the dog, but we were literally hanging the barn doors on the bathroom. We were building the furniture, and I actually remember as the renter was coming in, I was setting the Wi-Fi up on the TV, like the Netflix, the cable, all of that stuff. And it was just such a pain. You might want to put Kumba out so they don't growl, but I don't know, it's up to you. All the dogs are in here now, so yeah. And then all of our dogs, we had like Dixie was there and Kumba. They were actually there for all the remodels.
Yes.
Like
No AC and all that.
yeah, there was times we didn't have AC because we were actually replacing the AC. But those years of sacrifice, I don't know. we had such a strong work ethic to want to make it, and I think that's what a lot of people just might not ever get. Like it's not an 8 to 5 job.
It's not. And
it's not 5 days a week. Like, it's every day if you want to make it.
Yes. Yes. Well, thanks to the military for training us to work 24/7.
It's probably our parents too.
And of course, our parents were just work, and that's probably something that I don't ever want to, like, have our kids grow up with. I mean, I want them to work their ass off whenever, it's needed, but I don't want them seeing us just on our days off. So
yeah, sorry, our dog's recovering from bronchitis. His dog has got the hardest life in the world. So but yeah, no, that was a lot of work. I remember we actually said, I don't know if it was at Christmas or the next one, we're like, we're never going to be working like Christmas holidays ever again or something like that. Like, we just wanted to like enjoy our holidays because we were just so used to working all the time on it.
So, well, that's a lie. We've been working since then, though.
I mean, like, remodeling, like, I mean, we were literally hanging doors and picture frames and
yes,
building furniture. It was a mess.
No, I'll always remember that, and we'll always have something to talk about to our kids whenever we have them.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna have kids. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
So those properties we did, and then you did all the admin stuff and accounting, taxes, all the stuff that I was terrible at, and I don't know what. Let's talk about that.
I like money.
You definitely like to spend money.
No, remember, like, we would always tell the owners, like, you don't make money, or we don't make money if you don't make money.
Yeah, that's what I would
So
tell the
we'd tell
owners.
our
If you're not
owners.
making money, we're not making money.
And whenever they're like, oh, why am I not booking? And we tell them, and they don't believe it until you tell them, like, look, Riz is trying to book your house, and she likes to spend money. So
Yeah, so I would tell the owners, I really would say this, and I would say, look, my wife has a purse buying problem, so she wants to book your property.
yeah.
And I'm like, she works literally all night. And I would give examples. I'd be like, it'd be 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and she's literally negotiating with people to book your property for the week. And it's because she likes to make money.
Yes.
And like, owners would laugh, and some of them would be like, for real? I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, she never takes time off. And then, like, for our friends that would go out to dinner with us, we'd be at dinner, and she's literally over there just on the phone negotiating with someone on Airbnb.
Yes.
Especially like in the off season, because off season we negotiate prices. Summer we don't, but
Yes.
she's over there like, I'll negotiate this, I'll negotiate that. Just like you did literally like a week ago in Bonita Springs with those contractors. You got them up another $100 a night for 2 months.
Oh, did I tell you they're booked for another 15 days?
Another 15 days. Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw that message between you and Eric. So that's what I would tell people. I'm like, look, no one's going to outwork her because she's actually getting the money if she books your property. She's not just an employee on a fixed salary.
Yeah.
And she would make that money.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, it's the best feeling when you make money for other people. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, I love, all the thank yous and all that, but I love making people happy, making money for other people. Like, as much as I love making money myself, like, it's the best feeling when I write, when I do that wire transfer for them for $50K a month or $60K a month. Like I'll tell you sometimes, like, hey, guess how much
How much did we wire transfer in July? Do you remember? To the owners? I think you told me.
I'll be about $800K.
Yeah, I think it was about $800,000. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Like, when you literally are just hitting like send on those wire transfers
Yes.
for that amount of money, and then
Yes.
at our small level.
Yes.
But like, it's crazy.
Yes, you can have, you know, all the marketing in the world. You can spend as much as you want. Nobody's gonna outwork a manual labor, period. Like,
No.
you can have all the datas, all the air DNA working for you. Like, me looking at what's going on right now compared to a database, like calculating all the numbers, it doesn't equate it. So
No, I don't think that's something a lot of people didn't get. I know, like you mentioned, like the air DNA,
yes,
and we'd always every now and then we get like
so,
some owners that just are like, oh, what about air DNA? You know, like I heard this company does it, and they're just this like massive company. And air DNA is kind of like the Zestimate on Zillow.
yes,
You know, they can't pinpoint down like that interior of that house and how
Yes.
everything's going to look, and
or the customer service.
or the customer service of it,
Yeah.
things like that, or just maybe some other amenities, like maybe this house has like a free golf cart, you know.
Yes.
And I could be wrong on a few of those things, but the houses that were using air DNA compared to like you and I adjusting the prices manually, they wouldn't even compare to what we were doing. Because usually what would happen is their price would be higher,
Yes,
and then it wouldn't book, and then they would just like drop the price so far down, and they were just losing losing both ways on it. I know that was always kind of like, especially with you, and I would warn owners with Riz. I'd be like, if you just kind of like stay out of her way and let her do her thing, she'll make you more money than you've like ever were expecting.
yes,
And some people wouldn't really take that advice seriously, and they would start consistently bothering you all the time.
yes,
But once it would get kind of that breaking point, and I would say, look, well, you would actually threaten you're going to drop them. You're like, look, you can go to another management
well,
company.
I always tell you first so you can
Yeah.
mend it, like, you know, so you can talk to them first, because
I usually had to
don't-
be the voice of reason
Yes.
for a lot of things, but
I know, like, so, like, Howard is the nice guy.
well, I just try to keep the business.
Well, that one too, but sometimes, you know, I don't have time.
Yeah. So like I would tell them like, hey, just back off. Let her do her thing for a few months and you'll see. And they would always call me back. Oh man, I'm so glad I listened to you. Like she's making me so much money. Like it's great. But I think that was kind of a lot of times the owners try to fly the plane and they don't even know what they're doing. It's like the blind leading the blind. And that's why we had to make it so clear to them up front, like, hey, you're not, like, this is our job. This is what you hired us for. And I know we got to get rid of these dogs. They're just like,
Anybody wants some dogs?
I know, like, I would take them out. Like, they're just everywhere. Sorry. Rookie moves on this podcast. Do you want to take them out or what do you want to do?
They're part of the family. They're,
All right.
they're
They are
here.
part of the Howard family. That's true. And they're
This
going to be
is the
going.
Howard show.
Yeah, this is
You
what we
know?
deal
This
with.
is
You know,
what we deal
honestly,
with
this is
every
just
day.
real life. This is what we deal with.
Yes.
These dogs are just going crazy, and it's just ridiculous. So usually at this point, they start getting smacked, you know. But like
It's just Kumba. Look at him.
he's just
Take
grumpy.
him.
All right, come here, buddy, because you're just like interrupting the whole show right now.
He wants to be on the show.
He
He
does.
needs a Kumba show.
He always, gets in the way. But so back to what we were saying, it was just.
I just want them to trust us, period. You know, I think that's the biggest thing too with our success is that a lot of people trusted us, and people that
The ones that listened made money.
people that trusted us made money. Like,
Yeah. Because, like, good example is we would have owners, and this is what not to do if you hire a management company, but the owners would be like, well, I read on Facebook the neighbor's doing like $1,000 a night. And I'd be like, well, your house is only going to do 600 max, guaranteed. And they'd be
Yes.
like, no, I read on the 38 homeowners page, all these neighbors are doing 1,000 and they're booking for that. And then I'd be like, okay. So we would put it to $1,000 a night. And then a month later, they're like, why haven't we got no bookings? What's going on? I thought you guys were going to book the property. And I'd be like, you want to go $1,000 a night? And then now we have to cut the price down to $450. to make it work. And then I would actually ask them, I'm like, why don't you actually ask your neighbor what they're booking for? And they'd be like, oh, actually, they only got like $385. And I'd be like, see, you just messed up your entire year.
Yes.
Like, we had that one owner, he was griping. I think he made like, I don't know, 180,000. I think it was roughly like that. And then when he actually just listened to you, I think you actually brought him over 220,000 or something like that the next
Yeah.
year, just so he would listen.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's the vacation rental management side of things, you know, like you get to deal with customers, owners, contractors, and you just have to pretty much live and learn like who you do business with, essentially.
Yeah, I think that was another big point, is we'd actually interview the owners to these properties. They would think they're interviewing us. Oh my goodness. He's got to go outside.
All right,
Take him
let's go.
outside. This is just too ridiculous. About to smack him. So, like, a big thing we would be doing is owners would always tell us, like, hey, we're looking at other management companies and want to kind of get a feel for you. And I would actually be doing the interviewing on them. Like, I have like a bucket of red flags. And it's weird, but you start to see the same personalities and the same characters over and over. And I kind of feel like I have a degree in psychology. Like, I can usually I know what someone's going to say before they say it, just because I've already seen that personality before. So they would start saying things. It'd almost be like a trigger word. And I would be like, I don't want to take this person on, right? Especially people that would say, I don't know, something they would say like, this home is my baby. It has to be kept perfect. And I'd be like, well, your home's about to turn into a hotel.
Yes,
You're going to have
they
20
don't-
people in this house every week for the next year.
They
It's
don't
not going to be
understand
perfect.
it.
And it would be irritating because we'd make that person like $200,000 and they'd find a scuff mark on the wall and they would lose their minds. And yeah, a scuff mark right there, right? Like, and they can't wrap their heads around. So that's why, like, usually I think we kind of got to the point to where if we would set that expectation with the homeowners and say, look, this is literally a hotel. Your home's
Yes.
going to get messed up. We're going to try to minimize
With kids,
the damage.
pets.
But like, the home is going to get messed up. You're going to get scratches on the floor. You're going to get scuff marks. We'll try to fix everything we can in the off season, but like, don't come in here griping that there's your laminate flooring at $2 a square foot got scratched when you just made $200,000. Like, there's some risk involved with your vacation rental.
Yes.
Or like when you would specifically tell them, like, let me design your property because you get good quality commercial grade furniture. And furniture is a big thing in vacation rentals. And then these homeowners wouldn't listen to you. They're like, oh no, I'm going to go to like Bow Interiors in Grayton Beach. And great furniture, super nice. But they'd spend $12,000 on a sofa. And then after the summer, there's SpaghettiOs on it. I mean, we wash them, but they're not commercial grade. And the cushions go flat. They get messed up. And they're just like, but that was a $12,000 sofa. And you're like, well, if you'd have listened to me, I would have bought you a sofa for $1,500 that was actually commercial grade, and it would have lasted the next 2 years. And I
Yes.
could pop the slip cover off, wash it, clean it, good to go. And that's where, like, if you would just listen to the people that know what they're doing, you'll save yourself so much money.
Yes. And, you know, you got to always put it in the back of your head that it's a vacation rental. It's not your dream home. Like, you're literally making money not staying in a house or owning a house. Like, you'll never hear that anywhere else unless you buy a hotel. But yeah, I completely agree. Like, some people just don't listen, and that's when we just, you know, weed them out.
Yeah, because we'd always look at the end of the year statements and see which house was the worst performing, like, financially. And if it was usually because of an owner not listening, we would just say, hey, you know, it's just not working for us, and you need to find another management company.
Yeah.
or the ones that
Well,
were like disrespectful with time.
Disrespectful. Yes. Somebody. They just need somebody that is 100% focused on them. Like we have like, I don't know, we had 60 owners then, and we're literally like navigating through each and one of them. And you know, some are a little bit more, I don't want to say needy, but they are a little bit more like they care more too much more about their homes. Like some are just like, okay, it's
Like-
a rental home, it's an investment.
Literally how the sofas are positioned on the sofa
Yeah.
during a turn day on a Saturday
Yes.
when we have 50 homes to turn.
The pillowcase, the throw pillows on the sofas.
Yeah, they're like, it's on the wrong sofa. And you're like, man.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a learning curve,
Yeah.
but they learn.
Yeah, it's a big learning process for everybody, and especially for like new homeowners who you try to tell them what to expect, but they don't get it. Another big thing you did was the customer service. Like we had a receptionist, we had a few receptionists, but you still did a lot of the covering, like after 7 p.m. and sometimes the weekends and things like that. And you dealt with a lot of Karens. Like
Yes.
a lot. And I would see those messages because usually they get forwarded to me because they want to threaten a lawsuit
Yes.
over the Wi-Fi being out for 30 minutes. Like I really can't make that stuff up. Like the Wi-Fi would go down for 30 minutes at 1 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon, beautiful Saturday.
Yes.
You should be at the beach, and they're like, I want half my money back or I'm going to sue you.
Yes.
Well, I know how you dealt with it. Why don't you I guess tell the audience how you would deal with these crazy people and what actually you discovered would work, because you would see the same personalities with these people.
Like I said, like with our business, you deal with so many personalities, so many Karens, and you know, like I do want to say that like there are probably 3 out of 10 Karens, you know, and the 7 of those people are like amazing people. Like they thank
True.
you and they say like, this is the best house we've ever stayed in, this is the cleanest, you guys are top notch. But then there's always that one bad apple, and I think some people are just like that, like wherever they are, like in life, in their marriage, in their relationship, in their house. I don't know, like some people just come in and they just see negative, and you know, sometimes you just have to tell them no, like initially, like as soon as they ask for something ridiculous, you just say no, because no good deeds goes unpunished. Like it's always something. Like if they ask for a discount, that's like first
red flag.
First red flag, ask for a discount. You know, like I don't mind giving discounts. Like it's a hard times. Like no matter what you say, like people are struggling and people need vacation, but they would ask for a discount, but it's like ridiculous. Like the house would be priced, I don't know, $500 a night, and they want it for $150 a night. So I tell them, no. And they're just like, that's rude. And I'm like, you literally asked for a $500 a night house to be $150 a night. Like, what? That's not rude to you? Like, that's literally, I don't know, like, what's that word? I don't know. I don't speak much English, but
Yeah, no.
but it's very disrespectful, like, to ask that for somebody.
They should
like,
ask for the house that is listed at $150 a night,
Exactly.
not the $1,500. But when you tell them no, then they would be upset because they think you're being rude.
Exactly.
Like you wouldn't give them a discount. But I know, like I would even I did it myself, and you would do it. But
Yeah.
you would say, hey, like this property's $150 a night,
Yep.
and they would like,
Or this property is $250 and I can give it to you for $150. Like, I want everybody to have a vacation.
And they wouldn't take that.
And they wouldn't take that. They want the $500 house.
Yeah, they want the luxury home or whatever nice property.
So this is like the type of personality you see everywhere. Like, you know, because those are probably the type of people that buy something that they can't afford, period.
No, it's true. That was probably my biggest red flag when I would be first meeting owners, and they would immediately say, "What's your management fee?" And I would say 20%. And they'd be like, "Okay, I want it for 18." And like the people that ask for a discount, they're always, every single time, they were the most problematic owners I would ever have. So I had this problem when I would first start because I'd be competing against other companies. And this owner would be like, "Oh, well, this company said they would do it for 18%. And if you don't do it for 18, I won't go with you." And they'd be like, "I like you, John. I want to go with you." And I'd be like, "Oh, all right, fine, 18%. And then the next year would just be so painful for me because they would try to nickel and dime me on everything.
Yeah.
They would be like, "Oh, I saw this scuff mark. I need $20. Or this, I found this, or, you know, there's a thread coming out of the comforter."
And I told you that quickly. Like,
you did,
stop
and I picked it up.
discounting on people.
Same with people in real estate. Unless they were like a really good client. When I mean good, like I'm closing like $7 million a year with them.
Yes.
It'd be like that first time customer who wants a very low budget house, and they're like, "Well, I'll shop with you if you'll give up your commission part of it."
Yes.
Or they'd be like, "Oh, if you want to list my house, you got to do it for, you know, X amount of percent."
Yes.
And I'd be like, "Well, I'm not going to do that." And then they would just be like, "Oh, well, this person said they would." And I'd be like, "You know what?" And once I gained my confidence in business, both of us, I would just be like, "Well, fine, go with that person. If you think 1% is going to make that much of a difference to you, then I don't want to work with you," because every single time the person that asked for a discount, they always needed the most attention, the most time, and they were never satisfied.
Yes.
They were always difficult.
Yes. Well, I've told you before, like, stop discounting yourself because you know your worth. You know the game. Like, you know, you have people that are willing to invest. You have contacts, you know. So don't ever discount yourself, and don't ever give away my Birkin money.
Well, that was the other thing. Like our really good customers, who were like usually the ones that are very, very wealthy, they would never ask for a discount. They were just happy that we were doing like a good job, and they weren't needy. Like some of our like top clients we had, we might only talk to them two to three times a year at most. And it was usually like at the end of the tax year or something like that. We would never hear from them. But the ones that were the discount people, it was like 5 times a week.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes like 4 or 5 times a day.
Yes.
And that's when you just start seeing these personalities, and you start getting it. And then that's how we kind of like pick and choose the owners. We had that bucket of red flags, and then we're like, she'd be like, "I don't want that person." Like, she would hear me talking to him on the phone, or she would see like their email. She'd be like, "I'm telling you, that one's going to be a problem." And then I started picking up on that. But there was a few times I'm like, "No, you know
always
what?"
Look at the silver lining.
I'd be like, "I think that guy's actually pretty cool. You know, he's just, you know, he's fine." And then like a month later, I'm like, "Oh, I hate this guy. Like, I got to drop him." You know, like he's just driving me crazy over
I could have
everything.
saved you 5 months of, you know, headache.
Definitely, you know, I'd say, you know, obviously listen to your spouse, but like mine was my business partner, and if I would have listened to her a lot more, it would have saved me a lot of headaches.
Yes.
And yeah, it has saved a lot of headaches. And that's where you were pretty good. You would actually listen to me a lot. Like I told everyone, you were very against running the very first condo we had. You didn't want to do nothing with vacation rentals, and I was kind of like, "Nope, we're
Because I
doing
knew
it."
it was going to be a lot of headache. Well, that, and remember, I designed that condo. Like, it was...
That's why it rented so good.
Yeah, exactly. I designed it. I was literally, like, designing that condo while I was in Japan. Like, you would send me, like, the tiles, the floors, the faucets. Like, I still have those pictures, you know? I'll wake up, and there'll be, like, bunch of flooring and all that. So like I was designing all of that like away from home. So it was my baby, and I didn't want any crazy people going in there and pretty much messing it up. But then that's when we found out that if you have nice stuff, people don't want to ruin it. So that's another point.
Yeah, if the property was nice, people would
Take
usually
care of
would
them.
keep it nice.
Yes.
That was that was always kind of like where it would get difficult on like a really high producing property that was in bad shape.
Mm-hmm.
So we'd have like a Gulf front house, 6-bedroom. It's obviously going to make money no matter what the condition is, but the house would be like in poor rental shape because they have just been renting it for like 10 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then the owner would be like, "Oh, I want my property in perfect shape." And I'm like, "Have you looked at your property?"
They haven't been there.
Like there'd be so many issues with it. And that was always the hard part because the renters don't respect it when everything's already basically scratched or
Yes.
chipped.
The broken window
The broken window theory, right? So if all the windows are good, property's probably going to stay good. And that was kind of something, or I guess you call it our white sofa theory. We'd always tell homeowners, like, we need to do a white slipcover sofa.
Mm-hmm.
And they would be like, for a rental property?
Yes.
And we'd be like, yeah, because if we did a white sofa, the parents would, like, I guess control their kids. I don't know what they were saying in there, but they would be like, the sofa would be perfect. There'd be no wine spill, no SpaghettiOs, no pizza sauce. But if you put like a dark gray, a blue,
They don't care.
there'd be wine spilt on it, Fruit Loops all over the sofa.
Mm-hmm.
So something about keeping it nice and clean, I think because they knew they couldn't hide it when we would inspect the property,
Yes.
they would keep it nicer. Same with like all white linen. We did all white linen, bath towels, bed sheets, comforters.
Mm-hmm.
And people would think we're crazy for doing all white, but it was easier for us to actually wash because it would go into a hot bleach bath.
Mm-hmm.
And it was easy that way.
Exactly.
But people would always just, when they would hear that initially, they're just like, I think you should go dark. And we're like, no. But then renters like it because they can see
They
the
can
cleanliness
see, exactly.
of it. And that I mean, that it's weird how you kind of pick up on things like that, but it is so true. It's so true. Oh, what else to talk about? How'd you handle all the accounting with no, I guess, accounting experience? Like, because you were managing millions of dollars.
I know. Sometimes I'm still like, wow, that's a lot of money. Sometimes I'm just like, whoa, how did I manage to do that sober?
I think you were drunk a lot. Yeah.
I was, but no, I mean, again, growing up, like I actually started my entrepreneurship when I was young, well, my mom would sell ice, like from our house in Philippines, because we were the only house that had a refrigerator. Like we were one of the few, so she would sell ice, and I would always steal those coins from the basket. And she knows. My mom knows. Like I take it and I go to the store and buy candies, but like that's like one of my first entrepreneurship is that if my mom's like, if you want more money, you need to start making ice. So I was like, I make ice bags and I just make that for that. And then my mom had me started selling peanuts. Like, so in Philippines you can buy a bag of peanuts like in small sachet, and my mom would make that and I would sell it in school. Like I think I remember getting in trouble for it because I was disrupting the class or something. Somebody was trying to buy it, but yeah, I feel like I've always been a salesperson, but like on the behind side of it. Like you did the talking, I did all the numbers and all that, and I love spending, so I need to know how much I'm spending and how much is going out and how much is coming in. So that's like my basic accounting, I guess.
Yeah.
So
no, that is true. Like I was usually always the face initially of the sales. I mean, obviously, and
luxury
right here. And
well,
you know,
also, wait, I just want to say too, like, you had like the best face for it, because my emotions shows everything. Like, I eye roll, I raise my eyebrows, like I have the RBF sometimes, you know. So I don't want to say fake it, but you always like knew what to say when something.
I was just me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I was just me.
Exactly, because I'll be like, if it was me and the owner would be like so and so, and I'll be like, that's dumb, or like that's stupid,
yeah,
you know.
And
like,
I think that's where you did good with like certain types of people.
Exactly.
So like you would do good, maybe more with like.
Somebody was more blunt like me, because they appreciate that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like I did really good with investors because they're more dry like me.
Yeah.
And not very emotional.
Oh, that's true.
And then I wouldn't do good with like the soft guys or like the wives that didn't really have like a job.
Yeah.
That were just like, oh, my husband's like a doctor and this is my hobby.
Yes.
Because they were just kind of like airheads. But like I would do really good with like the serious women. Like
yes.
Like I won't say her name, but like our number 2 client.
That's
She's
right.
like a very serious person.
Yes.
And she could not get along with other females.
Yes.
Like she had a real hard time with that. And that's how she kind of found me.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, you're awesome. Whereas
yes.
everyone else, she's like, I hate you. I'm going to sue you. And even like a lot of like clients that like realtors would bring, like,
mm-hmm.
like the realtors would be like, hey, I'm just letting you know, this is like the most difficult client in the world.
And then they turn out to be
they would come with me
awesome
and I'd be
people.
like, this is the best client I've ever had.
Yeah.
But it's just because they have such like I want to say like a higher level of expectations and
mm-hmm.
accountability. And that was kind of like me, where I wouldn't never make an excuse. I'd be like, oh, I'm going to own this, or just the way I would talk.
Yeah.
They felt this confidence. They felt really good. Whereas the ones that, you know, weren't there, they would think I was just like very maybe brash. Is that the right word? Or just too aggressive. Yeah. And I think that's where you would kind of soften it up. And I think you could recognize that. So maybe if it was someone a little bit softer, you would kind of like maybe put them a little bit more at ease. And that's where that teamwork came into play, especially in the real estate side.
It's also vice versa. Sometimes some people think I'm too rough and you become like the mender, and then
When you go rough, you just, I don't know what it is, because I'll be like, that person is so nice. What is wrong with you? But there's just something, I don't know.
There's just certain people that rubs me the wrong way, and I'm just like, I just don't want to speak to them.
I think it's usually like stupid people.
Well,
they just kind of like annoy you with their stupid questions, and you're just like, I don't care. And then I'm like, oh, it's fine. I'll answer all these questions. It's no big deal. Especially if I'm in that mood to talk, I don't mind. But I would say that was a big thing in the real estate side. Whereas like maybe like some of the, I don't know, like wives or spouses would be like, they don't really like my side of how I show a house. I'm like, oh, this is like a great investment property, but they're looking for like a primary home. I'm like, oh, you could flip this house in like 3 years when you leave. I'm like, oh, if you blow that
like,
wall out.
Oh, that kitchen is so beautiful, or that bathroom was done so nice. Like, you know, they need my eye on it too.
The design eye, and that's where it would
it.
really help us on the sales side, like being a company together. Because I would just be like, yeah, rip all this out, put that floor down. And you'd be like,
I'll be like, well, you don't need to spend that much.
Just put a rug down. We'll go to Home Goods Girl and we'll spend like $500 and we'll make this place like super nice.
Exactly.
Right. I mean, that was never like my style. So that working relationship, it did really good for us. Like really, really good. Whereas a lot of times I feel like a lot of spouses can't work together very well.
Yeah.
And I mean, we obviously had like our rough patches there when we would work together, but I think we kind of figured it out over years.
Yes, I just learned how to shut up when I need to.
Oh wow. That's a great answer right there.
I mean, I just go online shopping.
I wasn't expecting that answer. That's a perfect answer.
But seriously,
you heard it, ladies.
Seriously though, like I think men are wired so well. I know men are wired so differently. Like, remember before, like, whenever I see something's wrong with you, I always ask you, like, what's wrong? Tell me, blah, blah, blah. Like, Now I'm like, there's something wrong with him. He'll tell me whenever he's ready, you know? Like,
It's true.
I just don't even try because I have other things to worry about, like some purse that I needed to buy or something. I really don't spend that much.
How many purses do you have?
Including the one that I have coming in. I don't know, babe. How long have we been together? You know,
14 years next
I know,
month.
Next month. Maybe times 3.
Wow.
No, I mean, you know, I always say that yes, men are wired differently, and it's better to just shut up sometimes.
I think that's where we were good at recognizing it
Yeah.
on the business side.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I would like, okay, I'm going to let her take this role
Yes.
because you fit better with that personality, or you're like, you know what, you take that role.
Yes.
Because we kind of did that with owners. Like we would take the owners, and we would usually be like same email thread or same text thread, but then it'd become like kind of obvious who they would gravitate
wanna-
towards,
yes.
and then they would just start texting one of us off to the side, and then
Yes.
we would just kind of go with it that way
Yeah.
because they just felt more comfortable, like I guess. But yeah, I don't know. It's just stuff like that you pick up on.
Yes, and that's the only way you can work with each other. Like, and I tell people all the time, there are only like, I don't know, I was gonna say a few things that we actually get along, like that we actually have, you know, passion for together. Real estate and probably cars.
Oh yeah, we definitely like cars.
Yeah. Lucky for you.
I know. Yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of y'all probably saw we just lost the Cobra replica.
That's one of my favorite.
It was during the hurricane. Unfortunately, it's fully covered insurance, so it's not a big deal. But
yes.
it was.
It could be worse.
It was
could have
during.
lost the whole house.
It was during COVID. We watched the Ford versus Ferrari,
Yes.
and she goes, "I like that car.
Yes.
Can I buy one of those?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, they're like millions of dollars."
Yes.
But I was like, "But they make kit cars." And I literally just like Googled it, and we were at our house in Bonita, and then it was like right here
It's
in
right
Naples.
here.
And I was like, "What?" And they build them over like in Palm Beach. And then yeah, we wound up getting one. And
Yeah.
that was a
Which is
fun
probably
car.
like the worst idea ever because it was during COVID and we shouldn't have been spending that much money.
Yeah, but it was. I mean,
But it was a fun car. Like, I love that car. So we're definitely getting another one. So.
Oh yeah, well we got a lot of other cars we want to buy. That's something we really do agree on as cars. You've never been like, oh, I don't like that car.
Yes.
Like you like the muscle cars, you like the exotics. I mean,
Bikes.
even motorcycles, stuff like
Yes.
that. So no, we definitely agree on a lot of things.
Everything else, I don't know, especially not fashion. Like,
Yeah, we're definitely different on the fashion side. Yeah.
yeah. And I used to dress him up. Like, I really did. Like, I buy a lot of things for him, and that's not his love language. So,
I wear the button ups you buy me. 'Cause I don't have to iron them; they just come right out of the dryer. It's great.
well, that, but, you know, that's 13 years later,
Yeah.
babe.
That's true. So I don't know. We're probably coming up on near an hour.
We are.
People are probably tired of hearing us talking.
close it
But
up.
what's tell everybody what's next in the future for you
For me,
in the next year? Let's go to the
well,
next year.
I definitely want to get my master's for my mommy because she doesn't even know like how important that is, or she doesn't even care. She just wants grandbabies. So not next year, Mom, but I don't know. There's that, and then I really want the consulting business to go off. Hopefully. If not, I really just want to chill. I want to go to Europe and do nothing. Like, my sisters are already talking about
Of course, they do it right then.
my sisters are talking about like going to Europe together and traveling. I'm like, you guys can tell me when you're there and I'll tell you to come to our villa, you know, because I just want to not do
Yeah.
anything for a whole month or 2. I don't know, however long I can take not having the dogs. So, yeah, I really want to start another business.
Yeah, we haven't talked about that one business. We won't announce that yet,
Yeah,
but
yes.
we've been working on it. That'll probably happen maybe later this year. I think the
Maybe.
hurricane kind of put a little halt on that. But
Yes.
I
But
think
maybe this is the time to
it
start
could be
you
the good
know?
time to start it. That is definitely in the works. I think that'll be a really good business for us on that one. And it's another real estate related business,
Yes.
so I think that'll be really good. And then the jewelry business is obviously going to continue.
Yes. I just love making that stuff.
Is there another show planned?
I don't know. When are you bringing me back to Naples?
Tomorrow.
Sip, shop, socialize. Christine.
We're flying back
she's
tomorrow.
amazing. Yeah. So I'll look at her schedule. I mean, we're supposed to be in Europe, remember? So I haven't signed up for any of her shows.
I'm
but
guessing we'll probably do Naples for a week and then go to Europe.
Yes. We'll
Something
see.
like that.
We'll see, guys.
Yeah. We'll see. Well, I think that's all I got left, unless you got anything else you want to add.
No, I'm hungry.
I am hungry too. All right. That's the end of the show. Thanks.
Thank you, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe the YouTube channel.
Yeah, there you go. Like, subscribe.
Bye.
Bye.